I think this is the best Kentucky Fried Chicken I ever had.
How did KFC become the first U.S. fast food chain to open up in the communist country of China in 1987? Let's find out with 10 secret ways KFC won over China.
The secret ingredient is...
Only KFC could go to China.
Does anybody have an extra ticket? My investor cannot pay?
It was conventional wisdom during the height of the Cold War with the Soviet Union that only a Cold Warrior like Richard Nixon had the credibility to be the first American president to go to communist China to open up relations. Maybe fast food isn't as historically significant as international relations and national security issues, but it's still something to care about. KFC has the distinction of being the first fast food chain to enter the mainland China market. KFC's opportunity was an example of the economic changes taking place in communist China as it began to shift toward a semi-capitalist market.
Money, 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 money.
The fast food chain opened its first store in 1987 near the Great Wall. The chicken chain was off to a strong start right from the beginning because this is a terrific location. The proximity to China's most popular tourist attraction gave KFC the opportunity to serve both locals as well as foreign tourists who are already familiar with the KFC brand. The chicken chain had a head start against other fast food chains opening in China, and it seems to have made the most of it. The China menu.
You ain't got no better food, like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
Fast food restaurants are built around a menu that is somewhat unique to that chain, even if this just means the franchise's own take on hamburgers and fries. In the case of KFC in America, the menu is all about their original recipe fried chicken, biscuits, and mashed potatoes. Chicken was still something of a luxury food for most Chinese people when the fast food chain opened its first store near Beijing. KFC has built a successful brand around pieces of fried chicken, chicken tenders, and sides like coleslaw and biscuits. Biscuits are not on the menu at KFC outlets in China. Of course, biscuits are very popular in America, so it's interesting to see how cultural differences show up in people's different tastes. KFC stores in China do offer a selection of traditional Chinese menu items, as well as some Chinese-inspired items. Before entering the Chinese market, the people at KFC took the time to carefully research Chinese taste and cuisine so they could better cater to the population they hope to capture as regular customers.
You like Chinese? The food?
The chicken chain offers Chinese favorites such as egg tarts, which are little custard pies, congee, a kind of rice porridge, as well as fried dough sticks that sound like they can make a tasty snack or dessert anywhere in the world. Luxurious.
That sounds expensive.
In American culture, and in the West generally, fast food chains are usually considered to be fairly low quality when it comes to the food. Fast food can be very tasty, but many people value its convenience over its quality. Fast food is also known to be relatively inexpensive when compared to sit-down restaurants. When KFC was introduced in China, the average population mainly consisted of rural laborers and farmers without a lot of disposable income. Most people living in China considered meat a luxury and would likely not have eaten it every day. Rice mixed with some meat paste was one of the staple dishes people commonly ate in China in the 1980s. When KFC was able to offer a readily available and affordable meal with a couple of pieces of chicken and some side dishes, the Chinese considered it to be a small feast. It was an important insight when KFC realized that many Chinese considered a modest but decent meal with some meat a real luxury. The company's ability to meet this demand with affordable choices was one of the secret ways KFC won over China.
It's cheaper.
Even though the communist country has become much more wealthy since the 1980s, there is still a big demand for KFC's convenient and modestly priced meals. Expanding footprint.
There's always wanting more. More!
KFC started with only one store on the Chinese mainland in 1987, but the demand for affordable and accessible fried chicken proved to be a growing phenomenon that has made the fast food chain a lot of money.
Huh? I'm rich. I'm rich.
Like most businesses, KFC wanted to grow. However, growing its footprint in China was a business decision, but also a political decision. By 1999, the chicken chain had opened more than 300 stores across the country, in both big cities and small communities. KFC became a familiar part of many people's lives. However, fast food chains like McDonald's have not been quite as successful expanding into the communist country, and there are clear reasons for their struggles. The Golden Arches relied on a strategy of focusing on urban areas and families. However, China, which still had its controversial one-child policy in place when McDonald's arrived, was not the best market for a child-focused campaign. KFC's efforts to expand into the rural areas helped to foster and maintain goodwill with Chinese customers who had been having trouble affording chicken and other meat as part of their daily diet. Send in the Colonel.
Oh yes, hi, Colonel Sanders.
McDonald's is the most successful fast food chain in America. In 2019, it raked in almost $41 billion in sales. Starbucks was a distant second at $21 billion. KFC, by contrast, didn't even crack the top 10. It finished in 13th place with less than $5 billion in sales. The chicken chain might be a relatively small fish in a big American pond, but in China, KFC is the big cheese, or in this case, it is more like the big chicken.
Cucucacha! Cucucacha!
McDonald's became a great success in America by paying attention to what its customers wanted and using advertising and marketing to build a brand that spread like hotcakes across the country from coast to coast. KFC used a similar formula in China to help it become a hit in the communist country. The fried chicken restaurant had a significant head start in the densely populated country, and it has held on to the lead for more than 30 years. Although its dominance has begun to wane a bit, KFC will likely continue to be the #1 American fast food chain in China for years to come. It seems like the only thing that could threaten KFC's dominance is if the Chinese people suddenly develop a huge taste for hamburgers and french fries. Location, location, location.
Honk once if you love chicken. Honk twice if you love the Lord.
Location is often touted as the most important factor in assessing the value of a piece of real estate. This is often true, and fast food chains like KFC have learned that the locations of their restaurants are one of the key factors in their success. Attention to details like this is one of the secret ways KFC won over China. Even though China has about 1.4 billion potential customers, KFC still did not take the locations of its restaurants for granted. The fast food chain implemented a successful strategy that embraced the obvious locations, such as putting a restaurant near the Great Wall.
Smart, Ann. Smart.
However, KFC was also mindful enough of Chinese demographics and culture to open locations in the more out-of-the-way, rural locations where most people live. These were less attractive locations that could have easily been overlooked by less attentive businesses. The chain's decisions were rewarded with loyalty and goodwill from the Chinese people, who had often struggled to afford meat, but could afford to order the chicken at KFC. Even with all the strides in industrialization the communist country has made over the past few decades, the majority of Chinese are still people of modest means living in rural areas. It made business sense for KFC to account for all these potential customers instead of focusing too much on the big cities like Beijing and Shanghai. A healthier brand of chicken.
Hey, is that healthy food?
Whether you call it fast food or quick service, restaurant chains like KFC offer customers mostly high-calorie and high-fat foods. It's clear that a lot of people love foods like milkshakes, hamburgers, french fries, and of course, fried chicken. You love these kind of foods because they taste so good.
Amen.
And not because they are good for you. KFC in China decided to address this health versus taste question by launching its innovative K-Pro brand in 2018. This more healthy and more hip take on the tried and true fast food chain is one of the secret ways KFC won over China. The first of these restaurants opened in Beijing and Hangzhou, and they offered more health-conscious eaters a menu of mostly salads, sandwiches, and juices instead of the usual fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and sodas. K-Pro is definitely a healthier choice than KFC, but it's not exactly actual healthy food either. This alternate fast food chain offers menu items like a Mexican-themed chicken burger, a pesto chicken sandwich, and a kale and blueberry salad. In case you were thinking this menu doesn't sound like much fun, you'll be relieved to learn it's not all grilled chicken and lettuce. To satisfy the Chinese sweet tooth, K-Pro offers a somewhat elegant soft-serve sundae with an upside-down cone. With both KFC and K-Pro, Chinese customers have plenty of ways to get their chicken fix, just the way they want it. They can get the traditional greasy fried chicken and sides, or grilled chicken and greens. Embracing technology.
Today's technology is beyond me.
Many businesses embrace technology fairly quickly because it can help them improve their bottom line. KFC in China has been on board with many of the technological advances that have impacted the fast food industry over the last few decades. In-store ordering kiosks and easy-to-use smartphone apps made ordering quicker and more convenient. However, this kind of technology potentially reduces the number of people that can be employed. This technology ends the need for traditional cash registers. KFC China's innovative K-Pro restaurants have been designed without these traditional fixtures of fast food restaurants. Putting people out of work in a country with a population of almost 1.5 billion people doesn't seem to be a way to ensure customer goodwill. But so far, KFC seems to know what it's doing in China. The K-Pro restaurants are on the cutting edge of industry technology with its facial recognition payment system called Smile to Pay. According to K-Pro, this is part of the brand's vision of a fully immersed dining experience.
I love it. This is simply awesome.
Unfortunately, with China's history and reputation, it's easy to see how this kind of technology could be misused. Unlike the broad appeal of the KFC restaurants, K-Pro is catering to the younger generations, for which digital technology is largely second nature. Embracing technology is just another way KFC won over China. The future is finger-licking good.
Delicious.
Back in 1987, KFC was the first chain to scale the Great Wall and sell American fast food to the people of China. McDonald's and other fast food chains followed in the chicken chain's footsteps, but KFC controls 31% of the market share in a country of nearly 1.5 billion people. Obviously, there is plenty of opportunity to make money in China. As the Chinese people continue to make economic gains and acquire more disposable income, the fried chicken franchise seems to be set up well for the 21st century. If China's trajectory is destined to be similar to America when it comes to the prevalence of fast food outlets, KFC should continue to do just fine. After 35 years of doing business in China, KFC has demonstrated a consistent ability to adapt and innovate within a distinct culture and a challenging business climate. The company has been able to expand its customer base and navigate the complicated business and political climate that exists in the communist country. Fast food continues to be popular in China and around the world, so the future of KFC looks finger-licking good.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
It will be interesting to see what the future holds for KFC and the other fast food chains as they continue to compete and expand in China over the next couple of decades. America, KFC.
Living in America. Eye to eye. Hand to hand.
Fast food chains are every bit as American as hot dogs and apple pie. McDonald's, with Ronald McDonald championing its Big Macs, French fries, and shakes, might still be the #1 fast food chain in America, but China isn't America. In China, hamburgers and French fries just don't have nearly the same stature as they enjoy in America. KFC reigns as the undisputed fast food champion in China, and has brought with it the practices and procedures that have made it and other fast food chains so successful in America. The chicken restaurant has lost some of its dominant position to McDonald's in the communist country, but it's unlikely Ronald McDonald will outdo Colonel Sanders anytime soon.
Not so easy, is it?
30 years ago, many people in government and business in America argued that stronger economic ties with China would be good for both countries. China was supposed to benefit economically through trade, and the relationship was also supposed to make the communist country less authoritarian and more free. Most experts would argue this hasn't happened, and could point to human rights issues as examples of the regime's thuggish ways. However, KFC has managed to thrive despite the challenges of doing business in the communist country, because it offers products a lot of people in China want and could afford to buy. It might sound simple, but business, ethical, and cultural issues are challenges KFC will have to navigate to continue to be successful in the 21st century.
Easy peasy.
Check out more great videos. Just tap or click, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.